Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. Alright guys, tonight's video, we're going to send you into the weekend the best that I possibly can. Now, a lot of you guys in Florida left comments over all the constitutional carry action we've been doing over the past several months. You guys are feeling kind of left out, because after all, you did have a constitutional carry bill introduced, but it got stymied in the legislature, mostly because of Republicans. But I've got some good news for you guys in Florida. Today, there was a case in the appellate court level of federal court basically trying to attack the idea that 20 and 19 and 18 can't buy rifles. They can own them, but they can't buy them. This is very similar. There's a lot of fights that are going on in this realm of restricting rights from 18 to 20-year-olds when they can have them when they're 21, especially a constitutional right like the Second Amendment. There's a lot going on. Florida, this one's for you. Everything's going to be linked in the description box below. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step, do a quick read from our sponsor, and then we're going to hit it. Now, Pyramid Air is sick of the situation, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So they are giving away thousands of targets and stickers and want to see your frustration as well. They want to see you filming, snapping, or even talking about how you take your frustration on these targets in a truly American way. To thank you for joining the fun, they are giving away $5,000 of shopping sprees weekly. First place is $3,000, second place $1.5, and third place $500. Anyone can enter, there's no purchase necessary. Check out the link in the description box, and thank you so much to Pyramid Air for making these videos possible this week. But now guys, let's walk you through this, because there's a lot of movement going on nationwide in the past 12 months around 18, 19, to 20-year-olds getting their constitutional rights around the Second Amendment back. And it's going in the positive direction. If this keeps happening, this might be a SCOTUS case pretty soon. Alright, check it out. Like I said, everything linked as usual. Federal Appeals Court hears arguments on Florida ban on gun sales to those under 21. Now this is a big one, guys, because there's a lot of problems with this law. But anyway, let's keep going. The NRA is urging a federal appeals court to strike down a Florida law that bans people under the age of 21 from buying guns. A lower court upheld the measure, which state lawmakers passed in the wake of the situation in Parkland. Now, that's going up the chain. Well, there's been some progress, all right? During the hearing at the U.S. Court of Appeals in Miami on Thursday, an attorney for the NRA argued the law violates Second Amendment and equal protection rights. It clearly does. That's not the argument that the state is taking. Listen to, or when I get in a second, just listen to what I actually, I've got for you on why. It's very similar. They did the same thing in Virginia last year. But as Judge Charles Wilson pointed out, under the policy, people under 21 can still own guns. For instance, if given one as a gift by a family member, they just can't purchase them. What? If your whole argument is they're going to make irresponsible decisions by having guns, why can't they buy them but they can have them? They can have them. I thought the problem was having them. So this whole point is you're infringing upon the rights of an entire class of people based on their age, but they can still have the guns. It doesn't make any sense on any level. That's why it's in the appeals court, and that's why I think it might be headed to the SCOTUS if enough of these happen. Now, quote, this is a good quote. At 18 years of age, law-abiding citizens in this country are considered adults for almost all purposes, and certainly for the purposes of the exercise of fundamental constitutional rights, attorneys for the NRA wrote in court documents. 100% accurate. Quote, this blanket ban violates the fundamental rights of thousands of responsible law-abiding Florida citizens and is thus invalid under the 2nd and 14th Amendments. Also completely valid. Now this is something that stacks on something we did in July of last year where the U.S. court judge overturns ban on 18-year-olds buying handguns. Also linked in the description. I believe that was in the 4th Circuit. There's lots of action on this happening nationwide, and Florida is just the most recent. But listen to why the state of Florida says that you, as an 18, 19, or 20-year-old in Florida, cannot own a gun. You can in Georgia, you can in Alabama, but you just can't in Florida. Listen to why they say, because this is mind-boggling. The state has also argued that people under 21 constitute a high-risk group who are much more likely to act impulsively. So because you are more likely to act impulsively, you can't have a right. Where's that line draw? Well, you don't have full education, so you can't really use your First Amendment right fully because you're not fully educated. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Quote, the unrebutted scientific evidence establishes that 18 to 20-year-olds are substantially more likely to engage in impulsive, emotional, and risky behaviors that offer immediate or short-term rewards. And empirical evidence bears that out in the form of heightened level of violent crime in that age cohort. The state argued in a court filing, quote, Thus, a reasonable fit exists between the legislature's goal of addressing gun violence and restricting 18 to 20-year-olds from purchasing firearms. So because you're in a demographic of age that has a higher risk cohort, as they quote, you can't have your constitutional rights. You're 18, you can have every other constitutional right, but you can't have this one. You can drive cars, even though that exact same thing exists. You can't do that. You can smoke a cigarette at 18, I believe. That's interesting. All of these things that are very irrational choices, are all the rights covered by this blanket? You're kind of irrational and young and too dumb to have your rights? If this is the argument, because the same argument came out in the Virginia case when they went up the chain further there in the Fourth Circuit, I believe. This is their argument. It's not about, is this a right or is this not a right? No, this is, well, you're young and you can be irrational and you can kind of engage in risky behavior and you're a high risk group, so you can't have your rights. This falls flat, not only because it's unconstitutional, also because you're kind of an idiot. Just saying. That's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.